What's really important to me is to see cross-sectoral sharing. The Teacher Quality Institute has probably reduced a kind of silo approach because of bringing together the three sectors and the two universities in a range of forums.
This is what I call the symbiotic relationship between our directorate, TQI and the university.
We have, as a result of what's described as the Professional Experience Project for the ACT Minister, worked together to identify the optimal conditions for a quality professional experience.
We've had a very productive relationship with TQI and the University of Canberra over the last 12 months. Previously, the university has sort of been the sole driver of what is good practice in teaching. So we've been in a position to actually influence some of the thinking around what is suitable training and how does that actually improve the practice of both the pre-service teacher and of course the mentor.
My name's David Patterson. I'm the Program Director for Postgraduate Education in the University of Canberra. So we were talking about We've been working very closely with a group of people to establish a Master of Teaching here. The initial work was done at a system level with our Dean and some of the key people in our faculty talking to their opposite numbers in the Directorate and here at the Teacher Quality Institute about innovative ways of improving teacher quality in our professional experience and in our teacher education programs. We started to realise that a program where they had an extended practicum would allow the teachers to really understand how that school operated, start to establish relationships with their colleagues in their faculties, but also to establish relationships with the students in their classrooms. Quality relationships with students is just critical to quality student learning outcomes.
We've actually created a professional practice leadership role, which has enabled us to actually provide a much more structured program as opposed to just simply being the contact person, sharing information around between us and the university.
My role has been to work with the university on their establishment of the Masters of Teachers program. Pre-service teachers are placed to a cluster, and my role was to coordinate across the three schools that we were involved with to ensure that the pre-service teachers were placed appropriately and were shared across the different schools for different experiences.
So what they'd done here on campus and what we were really encouraging them to do in the schools was to get involved in that whole cycle of design, of reviewing evidence, designing instructional experiences based on that, evaluating what had happened and then adjusting instruction. They were able to see the way that practicing teachers evaluate the evidence of student learning and build that into instruction. We feel that's a really important aspect of the program.
So to set up the process so that the students are allocated to the whole school rather than in that much more siloed way means that they get a much broader experience. It's very important to have somebody designated to look after the pre-service teachers because it means then that there's consistency of their training, that the students themselves receive training which is unified across the different schools they're in and within the different mentors that they're working with.
The spin-off is, of course, that we're also upskilling our teaching staff around what is a good mentor.
The Australian Professional Standards have offered a very strong platform for promoting a career growth approach. In 2011, in a partnership with UC and ACU, AITSL Pilot enabled us to work on developing professional conversations prompts and have subsequently been used much more broadly, so with beginning teachers and in terms of peer mentoring and so forth.
We have quite clear sort of recommendations or directions around what is a professional conversation for a pre-service teacher in either a Catholic, independent or a public school. I think the other example is our reporting mechanism for the professional experience reports. Now that's been developed jointly. So if a student does a placement in a little Catholic school down the road and the next time they do a placement in a public school setting, the actual reporting mechanism is same. And that's based around research, and it's quite rigorous. So we've collected data along the way to inform the development of that reporting mechanism.
One woman in particular that I worked with, I was a mentor for her. She worked very hard on a unit, so I gave her the unit and I said, I want to do something about women in literature and particularly in fairy tales. There were a number of students whose results on the essay, which that series of learning was moving into, who had improved results on their essays and obviously had been able to engage with her method of teaching really well. They were able to share their ideas in an intelligent and informed way because they had been given very clear processes and pathways to get to their understandings.
We have the essence of having that interconnection between coursework, placement, professional conversations, and I think that's an exciting outcome.
I think there's a lot of lessons to be learnt from within the ACT because we can actually work very collaboratively on a region, and I think that there's nothing to stop other states and territories from doing a similar thing.